Hello everyone. As part of lesson 3.3 and 3.4, we will look at one line is perpendicular to parallel lines. What would happen? Okay. I have two very similar pictures here, but what I want to say is different about the pictures. From the last video, we learned that if lines are parallel, if two lines are parallel, then their corresponding angles are congruent. And if we know corresponding angles are congruent, then we know the two lines are parallel. So here for this picture, what I want to introduce is if line M and line N are parallel, and line T is perpendicular to line M. Okay, perpendicular sign, parallel sign, and the parallel can also be represented in a paragraph like this, two arrows on the line. Okay, if these are true, then T is also perpendicular to N. Let's look at why this is true. Okay, if these two lines are parallel, then we know their corresponding angles should be the same, because we learned this in last video. Lines are parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. So in this situation, T is perpendicular to M, then this is a right angle, then this corresponding angle must be the same as this one. In another word, it's congruent to that one. So this one is also a right angle. That makes T perpendicular to N. I draw in red to represent that parallel and perpendicular here are given by the hypothesis, and T is congruent to N is the conclusion. Okay. For the second picture, we introduce the converse. Okay, the converse of this statement is if T is perpendicular to M and T is perpendicular to N, okay, then M and N are congruent. Sorry, M and N are parallel. Okay, I think to be accurate, this is not completely converse, because the condition, the hypothesis, and the conclusion are not exactly the same, and they switch order. But what I want to say here is T is perpendicular to M. T is also perpendicular to N. That's given in the hypothesis. Then these two correspondings are congruent. So based on what we learned from last video, if we know the corresponding angles are congruent, then we know lines are parallel. Here I use these dots to say they are the same, okay? So corresponding angles are the same, congruent, then the two lines are parallel. So these two paragraphs represent the situations a line transversal is perpendicular to parallel lines. If we know they are parallel and the transversal is perpendicular to one line, then it's perpendicular to the other line. In the second situation, if one transversal is perpendicular to both lines, or we say both lines are perpendicular to the same transversal, then they are parallel. We will use these two facts, you can call them theorems, to solve problems after this video.